Hello everybody, it's EzraTime again here and welcome back to another movie review. And today we are going to be reviewing a movie called Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, of course, this is the final installment of the Guardian of the Galaxy franchise, or you could say trilogy now. And yeah, for Guardian of the Galaxy is actually one of my favorite Marvel franchise, like next to Iron Man and I guess Captain America as well. And yeah, I love the first Guardian movie. I think they are masterpiece. And the second one, I like the second one, even though not as much as the first one. And I understand that for some people that like there is some people who didn't really like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I get that. But it wasn't as bad as like people thought or say, because I kind of rewatched some of that movie, for Volume 2, and they're not that bad, because I think they just stay in one location. And I feel like with this trilogy right here, I would probably compare them to like the original Indiana Jones like trilogy. You got Raiders of the Lost Ark that like have the character like go to different places, right? Which is what the Guardian one was. And then the second one, like Temple of Doom, for example, and Volume 2, the character for the most part stay on one place, and you pretty much know what's gonna happen eventually, right? And that's what the comparison came. And then as for Volume 3, I like it way more than Volume 2. Although I will say that maybe Volume 1 is still the best one, because I feel like in terms of the pacing and the character, is way better. But in this one, Volume 3 is way better than Volume 2, and then I love it so much. It's been a while since I'm like like I don't know, go and see Marvel movies, because again, Marvel I don't really care anymore, or like too much about them. So that's why I don't really watch the previous Marvel movie. But it doesn't really matter, because again, this Guardian of the Galaxy movie is like you don't need to watch the previous Phase 4 movie. I would argue you just need to watch the Guardian 1 and Guardian 2, and I guess Infinity War and Endgame as well, because they appear there, right? Um, and some of the stuff from Endgame does got carried over here. Like for example, Gamora is the new Gamora, right? That got carried over in Volume 3. Like James Gunn didn't just like forget that this is a different Gamora, which is great. And Peter Quill, as we all know that he was a badass in Guardians 1 and 2, but in Infinity War and Endgame, like he kind of becomes like a joke. Same things with Drax. And even though like yeah, Drax is still making jokes here and there, and so does Quill, but those two become a badass again in this movie, and this is what I was expecting for them to do, because Peter Quill or Star-Lord is a badass character. He is a capable thief, you could say that, and he is a capable thief in Volume 3, and that's great. And you got Drax just like super strong, and like super muscular. Like yeah, he is super strong in this Volume 3, and I really really love it so much. And obviously you got Mantis, right, which not really my favorite character, in the second one, but in this one I love it. I love her so much. Because again, like the way Mantis uses her power is so interesting, and I love it so much. Just seeing her like doing her stuff and stuff like that. And obviously you got also Nebula, right, played by Karen Gillan, which also again amazing job. And then Zoe Saldana as Gamora is also great. This new version of Gamora, and then you got Groot. Groot is also a badass in this the third movie, and it was amazing to see this character being a badass again after they previously treat as a joke, especially Star Lord, right? So I'm glad to seeing him again being a badass, like he was in the previous movie. And as for the rest of the character, you got Adam Warlock, which is something that people are probably looking forward to. I'm excited because he was played by Will Poulter. And Will Poulter does a great job as Adam Warlock, I would say that. But there is a massive problem with his character, because his introduction in the movie was amazing, and I was expecting more. But as the movie went forward, I was actually disappointed to the way they handle Warlock's character, because I feel like Adam Warlock could do so much more in the movie. But I don't know, like I'm expecting more, because from the introduction was so cool. Like his power is so cool, and then suddenly you got to the rest of the movie, you're like, sometimes you were forgetting that, oh yeah, Adam Warlock is in the movie. He is a character. And there's also some other character traits that Adam Warlock has in this movie that I don't particularly like, because I was like rolling my eyes, like because after the introduction I was like, oh, really? This is how you're gonna take the character? Come on, man. Like he could have been so much more. I'm just gonna be honest. He could have been so much more. And again, he could eventually come to the same conclusion that they have for this movie. At least in my opinion. And yeah, as for the villain, which is the High Revolution. Oh, forget one thing. Rocket Raccoon, which is like I probably should mention him first because he is basically the star of the movie. I think Bradley Cooper does an amazing job as the voice of Rocket. Because again, in this movie we see Rocket Raccoon like origin story, which is like super heartbreaking to see. And then like again, if you are an animal lover, then this movie will be hard for you, because again, there's so much animal cruelty in here, and which is unexpected, because like the recent Marvel movie, like I feel like they just become a joke at this point. They're just there for funny stuff, right? But for Guardians 3, there are actually some dark moment, and there is even that one scene that actually really surprises me, that I thought was like, oh, this is a PG-13 movie, right? That one scene that you guys gonna see in the movie was like, it's gonna be surprising, and then you're like, wait, this is PG-13, right? This could be like a scene from an R-rated movie, and I have no idea why or like how James Gunn like got away with that. But like, there's that. The scene was right there in the movie, and it was pretty gruesome, and I was like, whoa, okay, that was bold, and I love it so much. And yeah, I think Rocket Raccoon is like this so again the main like emotional weight for the movie, because the other character is also like amazing. Again, you got Chris Pratt as Star Lord, right? Peter Quill, he's amazing. Like I think these two, like Peter and Rocket, is the one that makes me cry in the movie, to be honest. Like it makes me like tearing up. It's been a while since I tear up watching a Marvel movie after Avengers Endgame, after seeing Iron Man dies. But in this one, there is a moment that actually really made me tear up, and especially with Rocket Raccoon like backstory. I was like, oh man, it's just like makes me cry. And it's a great stuff, man. That's what I wanted from a Marvel movie for such a long time, because it's such a balance between comedy and seriousness. I think Guardians 3 does a much better job than the rest of the Phase 4 movie, if I'm being honest. But yeah, also the villain, like I said before, is the High Evolutionary, I think. Yeah, the High Evolutionary, played by Chukwudi Iwuji. I hope I know mispronounce his name, but I think Chukwudi Iwuji does a great job playing the High Evolutionary, because again, he is menacing in certain scene, and even though there is some scene that he was like kind of just like yelling his line, like we all his character, and then he kind of just like yell his goal, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, but for the most part, he is menacing. He is quite scary, and you're kind of afraid that for some of the Guardians character, especially this is like the last movie, you're kind of afraid that the villain might do something to them, and then maybe some of them didn't make it right. So it really adds so much, because of Chukwudi Iwuji's like performance as the character. I think it's amazing for the most part, besides the yelling part too much, but for the most part, he is great. You understand his character, and he is really, really cruel, in the movie itself. Like he's insane, actually insane. That's a great stuff as well. And yeah, the action sequences is amazing, especially the hallway fight scene between all the Guardians character. I think that are amazing, like you get this like one shot where all the Guardians character just like kicking ass together. That was amazing. Because again, I think the action sequences like it's a mix between like I guess somewhat practical effect, but like some visual effect as well, and I think it's great, and obviously the VFX. Man, the VFX is good in this movie. Finally, right? Because I feel like the recent superhero movie, like the VFX is not really that good, because Marvel really like having a crunch time for the VFX team, so that's why the VFX look like cartoonish at the previous Marvel movie. But for Guardians 3, the VFX is actually good. Like it actually looks convincing. For the most part, of course, because at the end of the day, there's still like visual effects. But like for the most part, it looks good. It's like the previous Marvel movie pre-Endgame, basically, where the visual effects actually, for the most part, it's all good, right? It's all convincing to see, and I think you're gonna get that in Guardians 3, and that's amazing. And of course, James Gunn does a great job for directing and writing the character, and for the conclusion, I like it. I think there is some stuff that they could have done better, especially for Peter and Gamora's relationship. I think there is for the conclusion is nice, but I was expecting a bit more from the two of them, and especially since Zoe Saldana said that she is done playing Gamora. I was like, man, I kind of wish we see this version of Gamora more, and with Peter more. I wish we could see that more in the future. Maybe they could like do another special or something, who knows, with Peter and Gamora, because I would love to see that. But as a conclusion for the two of them, I think it's a solid conclusion, and it was good, and for the rest of the how the franchise end, I think it's a good end, how James Gunn and everything, even though again it's like can they still do a fourth movie? I guess they could, but at the same time it's like, I don't know, man. If James Gunn said that he's done, then he's done. As for the conclusion, that yeah, it felt like a conclusion. So like I think it's probably better to just leave the character this way in volume 3. Because who knows? I'm really curious to see what you guys think about the ending for the movie. Like do you guys gonna love the ending, like the conclusion for the Guardians character? Because you might not see them again in the future, because again, this is it. And yeah, do you guys love it or do you guys hate it? So if you guys already watched it, then you guys can comment in the comment section below. And yeah, for the most part, that is my review, guys. Again, I love it so much. Except that, again, my criticism is gonna be like the Adam Warlock's character. Because I feel like he could be so much more in the movie. He's pretty much like one of my big criticism for the movie. And it sucks because like his introduction again is amazing. I was like, oh, that is an amazing intro for his character, and I was like expecting more, and then like all right, as the movie went along, so I was like, kind of disappointing, I wish we could see more of that. But yeah, either way, I think this is one of the better recent Marvel movie, that actually has stakes and weight for the character, that has some emotional moment with Rocket Raccoon, and again, Bradley Cooper does a great job as the voice of Rocket, and yeah, I love it so much, and Groot is also really, really amazing. You're gonna see Groot did a bunch of stuff in this movie that that you probably didn't see it coming, to be honest. There's like one scene where Groot does a thing that I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's a really cool power that he has, and it was like, yeah, it's really, really cool. The action is cool, the character are great, it's a nice conclusion in my opinion. The villain is great, like he actually feels scary and like, mess up, and yeah, except for Adam Warlock, I think everything is great. I think John Murphy, also the composer, does a great job for the score. It really works for the emotional elements of the movie. And yeah, I'm gonna miss the Guardians character, to be honest. I wish we could see them more of them, but again, it's probably better to just end it. Because like where could you go, right? And maybe if James Gunn gonna keep going, then it's gonna be like milking the story, I guess, for the character. And I do think some of the character does have some conclusion for this movie, so I think it's probably just better to just leave them. They could do like a special or something, like, because you get the Guardians Christmas special. They could probably like another special, like make it a Halloween special or something like scary, right? Except with Guardians character. I think it would be really, really fun to see that. But yeah, guys, that's my review, guys. I'll give this movie probably 8.5 out of 10. Again, it's a great Marvel movies, and I know some of you are kind of done with the MCU, but give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 a watch, because if you guys are a big fan of the first two movie, I think you guys will love this one more than the second movie, but probably not the first one, because the first one is like, again, great character, great pacing, and like there is none of the character like got wasted in the first one, and in this one Adam Warlock got wasted, so like there's that. But yeah, it's a great movie, so watch it if you can, and on May 5th, obviously. And let me know in the comment section below what do you guys think about the movie, and what do you guys think about the handling of the Adam Warlock's character, and obviously the conclusion, do you guys find the conclusion to be satisfying, or maybe you're expecting a bit more about that, so let me know in the comment section below, guys. And if you guys enjoyed this review, then leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, usual stuff. And stay tuned for more reviews in the future, guys, or other videos as well. And again, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye!